I have a message for your Bishop Oyedepo and all the Nigerians, witch doctors. You know, they're masquerading. They call themselves pastor, prophet, bishop. You know, all of them. How is it that whenever they or their children or their relatives or their wives are sick, they fly them to the West in private jets purchased by you to get the best medical care paid for by you? How is it that these guys, with all the money they have collected from Africa, from the poor people in Africa, how is it they don't have the sense to say, let's put our resources together and build one of the best hospitals that money can buy in Africa for the people poor, free of charge for the poor? Why they don't have the sense to figure, why we collect the money from the country, from the continent, and we bring it and spend it in the West? Why they don't have sense to think, okay, we collect the money from these people, shouldn't we dump it back into the economy in Africa? Why do not have those sense to think about that? You know why? Because when you are greedy, you are selfish, you are self-centered, self-focused, egotistical narcissists, you don't think of anybody else but yourself. Because if you're somebody who loves humanity and loves God, you will use that money and pump it right back into the economy in Africa. Sense should tell you why you have a headache, you fly to the West. Even the politician, the same thing. You have a headache, you fly to the West. You take the money from the poor people and then bring it and spend it and pump it in the economy in America and in UK, in Europe. Why? Does that make sense? Number two, all of you who seem to have schools and universities in Africa, how is it that you educate your children in the West? Is your university, Oyedepo, you boast and brag about your university that is as good as Harvard or is going to be as good as Harvard. So if your university is so good and as good as Harvard, that's what you say, is as good, or you wanted to get to the level as Harvard University in the U.S., one of the Ivy League university, you compare your Covenant, is it Covenant, Liberty, I don't know, what is the Covenant? You have 2 or 3 universities. You say it's almost as good or it's getting to the level of an Ivy League university in the U.S. If it's so good, why didn't you educate your children? Why did you still send your children to the West? Shouldn't your children be the first one to graduate and come and boast to us and tell us? But if your university, they're not good enough to educate your children, why should they be good enough to educate the children of your members? Hello? Can you answer that question? You boast how great your university is. It's the best. It's neck to neck or almost as good as Harvard. Yet you send your kids to the West to be educated. But you boast to have the best university in Africa. But it's not good enough to educate your children. But it's good enough to educate everyone else's children. And it costs an arm and a legs. And Africans still don't get it. How can this man boast? It's like a doctor boasting that his hospital is the best hospital in the world or in the continent of Africa. Yet he flies to the West to get treatment. Wouldn't you think something is wrong? If your hospital or your university is the best, why are you sending your children and your wives and your family abroad to get whether medical treatment or to get educated? Hello? Come on. Your children should be the walking billboard, the walking advertisement of how good your education system is or your university is. Oyedepo, Adeboye, Olukoya, Oyakelome, all the names. Those of you who boast in having universities or whatever. Come on. If your university is so great, your children should be the first graduates and they should be a walking billboard, a walking advertisement of the greatness of your university. Isn't it? Or universities. Isn't it? Or your primary school. You got primary school, you got secondary school. I'm sure you got children, grandchildren, little nieces, little nephew. They should go there. Don't send them abroad and then come and boast and say your primary school, your university, your high school is the best. But it's not good enough for your children. It's good enough for somebody else's kids because they're dumb, they're stupid, they don't have sense. To read through your lives. That's what God is raising. The nobodies. You look down upon us and you look at us as nobodies. Your members will come to my page and say, who are you? I'm the David sent to take down that Goliath. That's who I am. Who are you? Your pastors knows my name. He reported me to YouTube, so he must know who I am. People say, oh, he's too busy with his ministry, yada yada, he ain't got time for you. Somebody took my video to him for him to give them authority to take it down. The point is, he knows me. Now he knows me. That means he's paying attention. You're paying attention. Get this message to him again. Hello, all of you. Stop taking the money out of the poor people's hand in Africa. Have some sense and reinvest the money back into the economy. Open schools, hospitals, universities. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? And because nobody confronting you guys because they're afraid if people speak up against you and question you, you will curse them. Who's afraid of curse? When the Bible says a man shall eat the fruit of his own lips, they want to stand to the pulpit and curse me. You will eat the fruits of your own lips. Be it unto you as you have spoken. I'm not afraid of curses. It is not my time to die, and you're not taking me home any sooner than me and God have agreed upon. Yes. Hello? I'm not. Your members will come and say, "Oh, you will die." You think you can threaten me by death? I'm already dead in Christ in God. Death is not a threat for people like me. It shouldn't be. If you're a Christian, you truly know where you're going. Death should not be a threat. It should be an invitation. Welcome with open arms, not a threat. I'm not threatened by death or curses from your witch doctors. You call daddies, mama, papa. The threats and the curses move me not. It's like waters on the dog's back. Be careful that God don't grant them to eat the fruits of their own lips. Matter of fact, you will. Any of you issue curses from now on, and all the curses you have issued in the past, God will grant you the privilege to eat the fruits of your own lips. That's in the scriptures. You didn't see that part? Well, go search it up for yourself. That's the problem. Most of you do not know the Bible. Neither do you know the God of the Bible. That's why liars and deceivers and charlatans have risen up all over Africa to deceive you. Now get out from amongst them. You are hidden in prison holes, prison houses. Those are the prison houses. They call them churches. They are shrines. They call them churches in America. They are business centers. They are social clubs. Get out of those prison homes. Get out of those prison houses. Set yourself free today. Religion have hijacked the African man's mind. He can't think. Religion, tradition, and culture have hijacked the African man's mind. Basic sense, common sense, critical thinking. Religion has robbed you of it. The Pentecostal churches in Africa have bankrupted the continent. It's time for us to what? Bankrupt them. How do we do that? Number one, we have to first begin to free the people by speaking such messages to open the people's eyes. Drive out the people out from amongst them and lead them to pastor after his own heart. None of you Nigerian pastors in Africa are pastors after God's own heart. You are after your own pocket and your belly. That's where your shrines will crumble. Your empire will crumble. You open your mouth and speak against the likes of me. God will arise and defend his holy name in us. You speak against any of us. God will defend his name and defend what he has sent us to do and called us to do. I ain't afraid of none of you. Your curses move me not. It doesn't touch me. I'm not intimidated. I'm not moved. If it's death, I welcome it. I know where I'm going. You don't. And many of you will never see heaven. That's why you want to do your best to enjoy heaven here on earth. That's why you have your mansions and your private jets and you fly to the west, you fly here, because that's the only heaven you ever get. That's the only chance of ever enjoying a heaven. So you want to make sure you enjoy it. That's why you have all these luxury celebrity lifestyle. You live those lifestyle because you know what, you won't make it to heaven. Guess what? God is coming to take his bride from under you. You stand in his way, he will take you out. You don't like my message, you know what to do. Unsubscribe. Block me. When you come and talk nonsense, I will block you. You have an open mind, you want to listen. You don't have to agree with everything I say. At least listen. You don't agree, keep moving. We're not going to start a religious war over this agreement. But I will start a religious war against the religious cabal. It's time for them to be dethroned. Africa is ruled by principalities manifesting the flesh as politicians and pastors. It's time for those principalities to be dethroned. I have come. What's up?